They are live on an extremely, extremely important and historic evening. Before the end of this show, with the grace of God, 3 Americans that have gone further into space than any human beings in the history of the world will return to Earth. In fact, they are now returning to Earth at speeds that are beyond anything you can imagine, backwards. And they are being piloted to Earth by Colonel Glover under the command of Colonel Weissman, with the assistance of Specialists Koch and Hansen, all soon to be, if not already, legendary American heroes who will be remembered when we say America. There you see what they can see in San Diego to some extent, I'm pretty sure by now, because just a few minutes ago, they entered the Earth's atmosphere, or rather the orbit of the Earth. If you see it coming down, do you remember the red lines I was talking to you about? He's already accomplished that, which is one of the 2 most dangerous things he had to do. You can see he's within those lines, and now to a certain extent, he'll get assistance from autopilot. The trick is he had to get it in there. Maybe that's what they can see from the Earth, unless they have it.
Yeah, that's the live camera.
So that's what they're seeing. Those people who are in San Diego, even though it's still. How far out is it in the Pacific? I didn't have that number.
Well, allegedly at this time, there's still about 150,000 feet in falling.
But as it falls, it's going to lose velocity.
Yeah, it should.
And if you have that in front of you, no, you can keep it. I can use you as my expert.
There it is. You can see it clearly.
Pretty soon, it looks like the parachute's opened. Am I correct?
Oh, just did. I think something just came up.
Well, allegedly, the timeline they put out, it's a little off, which they're usually very precise.
When did they say the first parachute's open?
That what's called the drogue parachutes deploy about 8:03 p.m., which they're a little off their timeline, which I noticed they were a little off there.
It's 8:03 right now.
They were a minute off. There they go. They're
and we're on drogues.
Well, these are
they are so good.
And Houston were visual 2 drogues out the window.
It up a little. Now it's coming back down again. Those parachutes, are not to land it. It's to slow them down. We're going to pretty soon see more parachutes come out. Those are the parachutes that are going to help it land.
Yes, about 6,000 feet, the main parachutes will deploy, and we're expecting Artemis II to splash down the Pacific at 8:07 p.m. Mayor Giuliani, I want to ask you, you were talking about the pilot actually piloting the capsule, and Henfling said that their capsule will perform multiple roles when they were doing re-entry. However, they will not be piloting the capsule. That Radigan confirmed that although the crew has been trained and is capable, a computer will be flying it.
But I thought he had to check it carefully. He had to get it into that.
You probably are right.
He had to get it into that spot.
Yeah, you are probably more right than I am.
Looks like they're coming down there.
Yep.
It looks to me like the other parachutes now.
This is the final.
Those are the parachutes for landing. And what time do they land? The exact time?
8:07. It's 8:05.
Okay. Well,
Search and recovery beacon is back.
Ted had a certain superstition about my putting the champagne out.
I think we're a go-to.
But I'm going to ask my brilliant coworkers. Would you rather open it when they land, or when we know they're safe?
Oh, when they open it or when they land? Which one, Ted?
Do they know that there's like, are they in communication with them?
They are in communication now at NASA.
I think once it splashes down, we pop the bottom.
May I have that for a second?
Can we hear it?
Good doctor.
They're checking it on them now.
Integrity copies.
Integrity copy.
All right. That was big. That was the first.
For integrity, its crew sounding hale and hearty on board.
God bless them. Holy macaroni, I got goosebumps.
Do you know it's slowed down from what in the period of time we've been on? It slowed down from 25,000 miles per hour, which is unthinkable. It's going to be pretty soon at 20 miles an hour, like a little old man, a little old lady drives a car.
Yeah, because they would have substantial injuries. If
Yeah, well, they're going to get a
was-
ticket from the California State Police for driving too
from the
slow.
Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
Hey, those are good looking. I'd like to get
Parachutes?
one of those as a beach.
Yeah.
Can we get one for the beach shed?
Yeah, we could.
This way we won't get burned, you know.
Right.
God bless them.
It looks so small.
8:06. One more minute, and they've been very precise.
I have
thought they were-
8:07.
Oh, look at it. Something's
807.
Did you
It's
see that
807
little
now.
fire or something?
Yeah, you're gonna. Well, that's because these are all the things that are slowing it down. So it'll land. Those are the back burners. You know,
Okay, thank God you
Kind of
told me
like a
that.
plane where they.
this is the
Reverse the
typical way you
thrust.
land a rocket. You
1,000
send.
feet.
How many feet?
Did they say 1,000 feet? A few thousand maybe. It's 807.
Those are all shooting off and creating thrust in the back to slow it down and also to guide it. This, I think, is being done by computer, which they can adjust. Look at that. Look at that.
I know.
That's amazing. There's some color photo
Eight-
there.
Oh,
807,
nice.
807,
Nice.
807. It's 807 was
I know,
the,
I'm watching the clock. to see
that
if
was
they
the
touch
time.
that.
They're a little late. They're a little late.
It's not 807.
Well, it's not 8:08 yet. I claimed they were late a few minutes
It
ago.
said
and
807.
They were
It
right
says
on.
807 here, Ted.
Oh, they splashed down and it's 807.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07
bless
p.m.
'em.
Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules
Isn't that
Verne,
great?
a modern-day mission
Okay,
to the
yeah, you think
moon.
so?
I
A
think
new
so.
chapter
I
of
think-
the
I think they're
exploration
safe.
of the celestial neighbor is complete.
Yeah, we know they're
So
safe.
Ted, why don't we play God Bless America,
Back on
huh?
Earth.
Okay, we'll add that.
Any version.
Yes.
I had a nice one with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
So they don't power down the integrity until 8:22.
And the landing and support officer
What does that mean?
reports the
I don't
vehicle is
know.
stable
The
one.
capsule, they don't power it down.
Yeah, you gotta
crew
put a thing-
module uprighting
you gotta put a
system
little
to
bit-
maintain that
take this one out.
orientation.
But I'll do mine.
Perfect bullseye splashdown
Yeah, but
for integrity
you have
and
to-
for astronauts.
So the targeted time to extract
I'm not sure it's
is
going to work unless you.
9:06 p.m.
Yeah, but we'll celebrate this.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to let you know that they won't be extracted until 9:06,
Are
and
you
they won't
connected?
power down until 8:22.
What does that mean? Powered down?
Well, they have to have their module so it stays like that.
But they're
upright.
in the water now.
They're in the water, but they still have power.
And from communications with them, we know they're safe.
Absolutely.
The unofficial.
Can we get a little sound?
time,
Let's hear
We got
it.
sound on it now.
Yeah.
Nice and loud?
47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds.
Oh, man. Okay. You tell me when you're ready to play God Bless America.
Yep, almost ready.
Well, Mayor,
We're
this
configuring
has
for
been
very
great
low
to
data rate.
experience this with you and Ted.
Yes, this has been fun.
This has been incredible.
Once again, splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego at 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m.
Integrity Houston, comm check on VLDR.
They're going to power it down according to the schedule at 8:22.
Right.
We have you the same. We'll meet you over in post landing.
Well, it would have been nice if
Perfect
they would have showed the
communications
control
established.
room and everybody cheering there.
I'm surprised. They always do.
Usually you do. I remember that from.
And that is
When I was a child.
That is the. Oh, do you
Reed
remember?
Wiseman
Are you,
reporting 4 green crew
do.
members.
I
That
had
is
oh
them.
not
my
the
goodness, you're so
deflection.
young.
That
I
is
remember it.
the fact that they're in great condition.
The USS John P. Murtha is waiting
So
for them.
stable 1 upright. The crew module uprighting system is being deployed.
And the extraction will be at 9:06, as you said.
So it's got 5 airbags that's keeping it upright.
For the vehicle. This was a textbook entry and a
It sure
textbook
was.
touchdown for integrity.
To the
Reed
minute.
Wiseman,
It's
Victor Glover,
crazy
and
how they
back
can
down,
predict it.
and
It's
back
going to
on
take a
Earth
little while
after a
for
journey
them
around
to
the
get
moon.
to the recovery ship. Within 2 hours of splashdown, they'll get to the recovery ship. The first out is going to be Christina. You're going to be first out.
Ladies
The,
first.
the second will be Glover, Colonel Glover, then Colonel, then the Canadian Hansen, and finally, of course, who's the last? Who leaves the ship last?
The captain.
The captain, in case it goes down. You're the last man to he's the commander, and he leaves last. Commander Wiseman.
You know, one of them, her little daughter is a TikTok sensation. She was dancing, very happy, proud of
We
her
continue,
dad.
to monitor the functioning
what
of
are you
the
hearing?
CMOOS system.
Wasn't that nice?
The airbags are being inflated to maintain a stable one or upright configuration. And there's a good view from one of the naval
What do you
helicopters
think?
hovering overhead. Reed Wiseman.
Look at all. That's the beginning. Okay.
I want to get in the eye.
Integrity Houston for SAR Beacon
In
and
a
radio.
silent prayer.
Our beacon is in for
God
bless
America,
We see
land that I love.
seeing the
Stand beside
The
her
radio uses the same
and
antenna, so you may
guide
run into
her
trouble with the radio.
through the night with the light from
Okay,
above,
copy, and we are also
from the
set
mountains
now.
to the prairies, through the oceans, bright with foam. God bless America,
As the crew
my
continues its
home,
post-splashdown
sweet
timelined activities on board. Reed Wiseman once again reporting
God
that crew members
bless
are in station.
America,
And we have 5
land
inflated
that
airbags
I
in the
love.
configuration.
Can you take a wide
So
picture,
that,
Ted?
the reaction, the recovery team can now begin a slow approach to the vehicle.
From above.
Meanwhile, here in
Mayor,
the flight
can I
control
have
room,
a
entry
teeny
flight
bit more?
director Rick Henfling is
Aren't you
pulling
too
his
young?
team of flight controllers
Let me see your
before
proof.
the start,
No one.
powering down the
To
vehicle
the
after a thorough
ocean.
systems check. We have no toxic gases
With
to be concerned about. So the recovery
God
approaching,
bless.
but not until we have powered down the spacecraft. That's expected to take a few more minutes.
Sweet home. Ted,
I'm trying to get.
can you show us
Yeah, I got.
like a wide shot?
Beside her.
Well, you got to let us know.
Should we go to commercial? Or?
Well, no, that would have to stand up. No, no.
Integrity back on Earth.
Here it is.
Following its
There's a light
historic
shot. I got it.
flyby of the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So here's you, Mayor.
It was
Dr. Miranda?
intents and purposes,
Yeah,
text
and you go stand with her.
On 28 per hour.
Stand right behind her.
This frequency.
Okay.
A little more of Dr. Maria.
That's as far.
Yeah, you can do a little more.
Not.
Okay, Dr. Maria, move one.
This way?
Yeah, that's it. Beautiful.
And I'll stand over there.
Stand right behind her.
Wiseman indicating some
I
trouble
have to
with
stand
the
between you
SAR
guys.
That's
staff
okay.
Go ahead.
on board.
Oh,
Get
you
your
need your
wine.
champagne, and it's the real thing. It's not even fake.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, no, you're okay. You're okay.
We begin the power down of the vehicle to begin
The
the
power
recovery
down's coming
process.
So we're toasting.
to
Let's
Artemis II
Let's
and the astronauts, obviously.
to the 4 extremely brave, 3 Americans and 1 Canadian, lovers of freedom and liberty,
Brave people.
to our president who envisioned this
God bless
years
President
ago
Trump.
and revived it. Otherwise, it would have been scrapped by Obama. And of course, to the greatest nation on earth, and our thankfulness to our God for making us part of it. We are so humbled to be Americans.
Amen.
God bless America.
Yeah.
The propulsion officer here in Mission
My
Control
best friends.
reports that we have safed the prop system on integrity.
Can you say again that was very weak and broken?
What's bleak blue?
Now we did.
Is this
use-
good champagne there? I don't even
This
know.
is very good champagne. We used French champagne only because they helped us in Revolution.
Well, plus Champagne region is where.
Houston.
The Champagne region is rather pro-American.
Yeah, yeah.
The two Champagne regions.
Yeah.
This
Good.
this is for Lafayette.
Oh,
All of the milestones.
To Lafayette.
Marquis
One
de
to
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
We have a lot of parks named after him, including one in
Integrity,
Manchester, New Hampshire.
He would be
Sarah's
embarrassed
atmosphere.
of the cowardice
Right
of
on
his people.
time,
There's the beacon. See the
reaching its,
blinking light
speed.
there?
Now it
Shortly
looks like
after
he'd
the
like to be
blackout
out there,
period
like
began, we emerged
voting.
from the blackout period, but the
Hey, get our fishing
recovery,
poles.
imagery, airborne assets
So now,
were able to pick
you
up.
wonder, like, how close are the
Integrity's
ships,
descent
right? How much do they know
immediately
exactly where they're
to
gonna
entry
land?
base,
They said it's going to
tracking,
take
the vehicle all the
about
way
2
down.
hours.
Oh, wow.
And
for them to
finally,
get
you saw
on the
Get
ship.
the actual
sequence of
ship. Right?
shooting.
They might have a
Yeah.
helicopter or something.
They're going to have a
First,
smaller
the
boat
forward
that comes
main cover
in,
being
and then they
pulled off,
swim
the top
towards
of the
them.
vehicle
If I
by a
remember
series of
correctly,
3
at
parachutes.
9:06 they'll
Then,
be
the drogue
extracted.
chutes were deployed, followed by the 3 main chutes that slowed.
There seems it's a very dull
splashdown
picture, but in the very back of the
velocity
picture, isn't there a
of integrity
structure?
to
Yes,
just
there's
19
something
A boat
moving
or-
back
or-
there. There is something moving back there.
Where exactly, Ted? Is there a way to look on a map that will show us where they are right now? If I do it on my iPad.
Check. Yeah, let me give you your iPad back. Yeah, let me check.
Yeah, just see if there's a interactive map.
You want me to check or do you want to?
If you got it, go ahead. I am extremely happy.
Integrity, Houston.
Oh, you do it.
With
Okay,
no
well, I gotta
joy
go.
Oh, okay, give it to me.
star
If you
and
can't do it,
sat
I'll do it.
phone, we'd like you to command an additional 15 minutes for a total of 30-minute power down delay.
Let's go. Live map showing.
All right, Jackie, we have selected T/D+30.
Location.
No joy on SAR radio or sat phone.
Of integrity.
And stand by, we have the master diver on SAR radio. Please hold comms.
Hey, Lily. Excuse me. Hey, Jackie. We just got the master diver on the SAR.
Master diver. This is very, very obviously rocky sea, right? Rocky ocean. It's you do have to have divers. See, here they come. So you couldn't have the big ship coming that close. It
Good
would
view
cause
of
too
one of
much.
the fast boats.
Integrity,
Oh,
Houston.
they're there.
Yep.
If you
Oh, they're there.
are happy with your comm with master diver, you can go back to the 15-minute power down.
Okay, stand by. Yeah, we'll confirm here in a second.
The crew on board Integrity coordinating with the flight control team in Houston here in Mission Control on the timing of the power down of
Now,
the vehicle, which will be the precursor
if you want to
the
see
recovery teams approaching
where
the
they are on a
spacecraft.
map, we can go back and
There are no
forth to it.
issues with Integrity. We've had a bit of broken capability in establishing a SARSAT or satellite phone communications capability between the crew on board Integrity and the recovery team. That will get sorted out here shortly. There's plenty of cooling on board Integrity, so there's no rush to begin the power down.
To call you on the
And there they are
phone
any
and not getting an answer there.
Any way we can put this up there, Ted?
Yours?
Yeah.
Concur. We haven't
Oh,
had
yeah.
anything come through.
Well, no, we don't. Yeah, it's up.
Up there?
No, on the show.
On that, okay. So here's the interesting thing, Ted. They're heading toward Chile.
Oh, That must be old.
Old.
Or yeah, I mean they're not there now, right? They're in the water. You might be looking at maybe their flight path. They're talking to me. Let me put that on in the corner so they can still hear that while you play this.
I thought they were off San Diego. I mean, this map has to be wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, you're wrong. It's definitely off San Diego.
Okay.
So
But
as we
we'll-
continue
the
to
map
sort out
is
the
right.
We'll find
communications
another map.
between integrity and the recovery teams, we are standing by for the initiation of the power down procedures.
Bull has communication with
that, as
integrity,
you
but
see, the recovery
integrity
teams are
does
moving
not have
towards, the side of the
any
capsule.
communication with
The
recovery
next major event will
team.
be the erection
So
of
they're
that
trying to
large
figure
inflatable
that out right
raft
now.
called
Explain
the
that again,
front porch.
Doctor.
So there is communication
That,
between
will
mission
be the,
control
port of call for
and
the crew as they're being
integrity,
extracted one
but
by
there's
one from
not
the vehicle.
communication. They're supposed to be, but they can't get it to work right now between integrity and recovery.
Recovery on the ground.
Recovery in those boats.
I wonder if
Integrity,
recovery
Houston,
includes the
for
large.
sat phone, we are
ship
going
they're
to
going
attempt
to, huh?
to call you.
So you have several aspects of recovery. The USS John
Good
P.
idea,
Murphy,
standing by.
which is about 2 hours away, and then you have the crew
And,
on the
yes,
ground
we
trying
are
to
pushing
locate
the
them.
push
It
to
looks
talk,
like
the two
they're there.
buttons
It looks
on
like
the
they're
left
right
side
next
of
to
the
them,
radio
doesn't it?
Below the up-down arrows.
And
We're
I-
visualizing them. I'm
Yeah,
raising
and
the
I
radio to see if we
suspect
get
it's
good
communication with the boats right outside their capsule. And you can hear Mission
Copy all,
Control
and, just to
trying
confirm,
to
you
problem
are
solve this,
seeing your
asking them
touchdown plus
what buttons they're
33.0 for
pushing.
power, correct?
Divers are going to open the hatch.
Hmm.
That's affirmative.
I'm not sure if they'll do it without the communication yet.
Oh, I would think they want everything perfect before.
There is one of our,
Well, it's
believe our
8:20
naval helicopters also going overhead.
8:22 was the scheduled time that they were
We
to
are trying a
power
backdoor
down
approach,
integrity.
to have mission control here call the crew on their satellite phone. This is all part of the coordination for the power down of the vehicle that will initiate
The extraction
actual,
isn't going to be
recovery
until
operation.
9:06.
The first boats with the Navy divers on board are standing by, waiting to close in on
You know, I'm really
integrity to
appreciative
begin
of
the process
NASA
of
doing
erecting,
this
the large
live
inflatable
and
raft
letting everybody know how
that's
this
called the front
works
porch
and what's
that
happening.
will be
The fact that we
where
can
the
listen
astronauts
and
are
it's just
extracted from,
remarkable.
so that they can have a few minutes to get their land legs back.
Yeah, that's right. I talked about that on my show,
Before they're
Mayor.
hoisted
You know,
aboard
they
the
just
Navy
went through
helicopters
incredible
for flight back to the
G-force.
deck of the
You
USS
just have to, their
John P.
bodies have to
Murphy.
settle just a little bit.
Their bodies have to settle. Now,
That's
tell
right.
tell me what that means.
Well, you know, the reason why they get tested and they train for so long is because the G-force, number one, that is incredible stress on their body. You have to have a good heart, very, very good heart. And
And Houston, please don't reply. NRD, very weak.
yeah, they're having
Readable, master diver, we can hear, but they cannot hear us.
they're having trouble with that communication between that recovery boat right outside or right near the capsule and the capsule itself called Integrity. But the body does take quite a bit of shock and pressure, so they have to get their what's called their sea legs underneath them. And
So-
then there's the fact they did not get out of the capsule, but if they were to land on the moon, that amount of lack of gravity, which they did experience in their capsule as well, that too is a stressor on the body. So I do not believe the master diver can go forward until there's communication from the capsule, knowing it is powered down.
And Houston on OE1, is there any chance to tie us into NRD?
So those orange red, what appear to be like
Yeah, they're like
balloons,
buoy balloons. You got
Buoys.
it, Mayor.
that's holding it in place.
Yes.
Or
So it doesn't
roughly,
go upside down.
roughly in place.
Yes, and so it doesn't tip upside down.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. That would not be nice.
Yeah. Roll around in the water.
Are you very excited?
I'm wicked excited.
That was one
That's
of
an
the-
expression. Tell us wicked
Okay,
excited. Tell
that's
us
a New
Mission
England thing.
Control, Houston. While we stand
Wicked
by for
spot.
the establishment of communications between Integrity
Is it a Boston thing
and
too?
the recovery
Yeah,
team that is
Wicked.
basically
Wicked,
standing
wicked.
by.
We always
very
say
close
Or does it
wicked.
come from
Wicked
Salem?
good.
Does it come from
Going
Salem?
close to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha, where Megan Cruz is standing by with Administrator Jared Isaacman.
And it's not just the administrator who's going to be waiting for them on the big ship.
Hey Rob, yeah, just such an honor
Doctors
to be
as
able
well.
to be here on the ship, to be able to share and experience this moment
Well,
with
we
everyone
are
together.
going
And of
to
course, as you just
report
said, yeah,
that the
here
president
with NASA
several
Administrator
times in the
Jared
last day and a half
Administrator,
has
how did you feel
told
getting to witness this and seeing
Iran to
NASA
stop
at its
charging
best?
for going
I'm
through
honestly, I'm still at a
the
loss for
Strait of
words. I
Hormuz.
mean, you
The
know,
Strait of Hormuz has never been subject to charges. The Strait of Hormuz is not Suez. It's not Panama. It was not built. It was not built by the Iranians. It's a fact of nature, and they have absolutely no legal right to charge. And when we are so fast to accuse Donald Trump of suggesting war crimes, not committing them, suggesting them, when he said, "Oh, we'll take them out," whatever. The Iranians have been committing war crimes every single day of this war by destroying water supplies of non-competent countries, hitting populations that are clearly civilian, and not a single peep out of Americans who seem to be betraying their country to support a terrorist country. If the Democrats want to raise war crimes on America, where is their patriotism about putting it in context and pointing out the serial war crimes over 47 years of the regime of terror, and their war crimes right now repeated every day, sometimes multiple, in their attacks of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Dubai. How much more? How much more do I have to raise to show you how phony they are? But the phoniness is extraordinarily offensive to an American, because they're phony against the interests of the America and in favor of the interests of the world's single largest supporter of terrorism. They have feigned a shock that he would attack. Their whole idea for the War Powers Act. Do you know Obama killed 60 to 80 people? This isn't a war. Over a period of a year and a half, by just dropping bombs on them. He picked them. He played God and decided if they would live or die. 4 or 5 were American citizens, much less than getting in trouble. They never even got arrested. We just found them by satellite and we put a bomb on their head. And Congress never approved that. Congress never approved well, in the case of Biden, he did so little, there was nothing to approve. What Congress should have done is remove him. But President Johnson, President Bush 1, Clinton, numerous. What about in the Serbian war? We destroyed entire civilian populations. We leveled cities of civilians in order to bring them to the bargaining table. All of that without War Powers Act approval, all of that war crimes. But we put them on trial for war crimes, not us. So pardon me for feeling that these people are now reflexively, meaning the Democrat Party, reflexively anti-American against the best interest of the United States. The economic impact of this is obviously felt, but there are some underlying circumstances that indicate that we're going to be able to sustain this. There's been a spike in energy prices that, of course, is monumental. It's at the highest level since May of 2024. Now, again, to our heroes, my crew, to my crew, one more toast to the President of the United States.
Yes.
To the President
Hear, hear.
of the United States of America.
Here, here.
Absolutely. God bless you.
Mr. President.
Mhm.
Very nice.
So let me see if I can put in context very quickly the economic effect. It's at the highest level since May of 2024, which was high, but we lived through it. The inflation rate right now has made a serious jump, but still not. The jump is a serious one, from 2.4% to 3.3%. 3.3%. When I became mayor of New York, inflation was at 9%. Okay, and it's in line with the economists' expectations. Now that they just put out inflation up highest in so many years, and they don't point out the following, which the American people, all of you who need to be informed, have a right to know. And in the past, when they were vaguely fair, they would. What you should understand is this is an episodic increase in it, meaning the underlying inflation rate is described by the report as anemic. The core inflation rate rips out energy and food. It actually ticked up to just to 2.6% from 2.5%. And it went up less than 1%. And that shows that this is all caused. The price of food went down. Basically, everything else other than that connected to energy remained stable. Gasoline went up 21.2%. It's basically at $100 a barrel. However, in every other aspect of the economy, we appear to not be in inflation, which tells you when this is over, this should straighten out. Now, you would be surprised to know that the price of food dropped by 0.2%. So for all of the economic harm this is creating, with regard to the most important, the price of food, it's actually a teeny bit less expensive than it was before. Let's find out how many people tell you that. You think you're going to see that on the Communist News Network? Or I don't even know what the morbid news broadcast company is reporting on that. There is no question that Hormuz has a major impact, much more than I think a lot of people thought, but in line with what a lot of people thought also. And I would say that within less than a week, this Hormuz thing will be solved. And I don't see it solved by agreement. I don't. And maybe it's the end that I desire coloring my interpretation. But I think it is all but certain that this only gets resolved with additional major military defeats for the regime. Again, I will repeat on this show something I started my last show with. I am very serious about this. There should be scheduled for these four brave heroes a parade up the Canyon of Heroes like Lindbergh received, like Neil Armstrong received, like John Glenn received twice. And we could go on and on with the astronauts. They were great celebrations. And I will tell you how much, at least in New York, they were beloved. Maybe it'd be a good thing to have one in a city governed by a admirer of Muslim terrorism and violence and an adherent of communism. Maybe it would be wonderful to have such a patriotic parade. It'd probably give him a nervous breakdown and he'd have to leave office. But how do we deny them the same parade that the astronauts got? Of course they should have a heroes parade. And believe me, New York, all the stuff about New York, that goes through Wall Street. It's controlled by people in Wall Street who throw all the ticker tape, which they have to go now buy because they don't use ticker tape anymore. I guarantee you, I know I've been in about 7 of them.
This is 1965.
Yeah. Well, you go back and look at the Yankee parade in '96 or the John Glenn parade in '98.
Oh, was that? You did
I'm going to tell you,
John Glenn.
They're not going to get to disturb it. Those guys in Wall Street aren't going to let them in. If the police would be just a little tolerant of the necessity to defend yourself.
This is, John Glenn,
So we're going to.
John Glenn. This is 19. Yeah, this is the parade you were.
Mm-hmm.
So Mayor Giuliani says, throw these astronauts a parade at the Canyon of.
Why don't we tweet that out?
Yeah,
right when you can. I know you have a lot to do.
Well, you got to keep these tweets coming.
There is as every hour goes by and they continue to charge, we get closer and closer to Trump announcing that the ceasefire has been violated and that there are consequences to it. This hasn't happened, by the way, what you just saw in 54 years. And of course, again, this will not be reported. So I fulfill my raison d'etre. I hate using French. I'm going to translate that into Latin from now on. My raison d'etre for this show is to tell you things that you don't hear elsewhere. Now, what you don't hear elsewhere is the unbelievable achievement this constitutes and how this reverses the direction of the anti-American Obama administration that was doing away with NASA so that China or Muslim militants could get control of outer space, which would be much more consistent with what appears to be the Obama's religion and political orientation. And the only way that we're going to give these wonderful and beautiful people in Iran a chance at peace is this. If you have been paying attention to social media, most particularly, I think you'd find this on Facebook and Instagram, although also on X. Many Iranian Americans have come forward pleading with the president not to feel that the Iranian people would hold it against him if he were to conduct the kind of bombing that he talked about. And they understand the kind of bombing that he talked about. He did that. He took it to the worst degree possible to scare the mullahs. And it did. It got them to the bargaining table. Now, it got them to the bargaining table. They agreed. They got the immediate pressure off. And then they went right back to lying again. But at least it stopped it for a while. And showed that although it hasn't yet had the complete effect, when you combine that with some more action, you're gonna get there. You just can't give up. You just can't give up. You've got to keep going. Are you keeping contact with the what's going on there in the ocean?
Yep. I got a lot going on. You want to put it back up? Should we put it up? Let's put up a.
Yeah, yes, and then we can get to the end, and I can have a little more celebration here. Ooh, keep aware of, if you can,
stand down and
I don't know how much
the
the schedule
entry
matters
section
now,
depart its
but they're
positions
supposed to be
until
coming
that,
out of that thing around 7:54,
inflatable,
and it's 7:40 now.
The front porch is erected.
As I
the
said,
hatch
I don't know
open, and
how
crew
much the schedule
having
counts now.
exited
It's
the
really a
vehicle. So
question of
that's
what's
the next
going on
step
the ground.
in the recovery
But
process that will lead to the hoisting of the crew members. For 2 crew members for each helicopter, they'll be hoisted to a pair of Navy helicopters that will then fly a short distance back to the USS.
the extraction time is 9:06. Which means they anticipated
the vehicle
that this was going to take some time, right? Oh, look at all the ships around there. Wow. But it takes a while to locate them exactly, Ted. And also, this is the I don't know what the depth of the ocean is here, but this is the ocean. We're not talking about a pond. They didn't come down in a pond. They came down in a vast ocean. Looks like the raft is right next to them, huh? Just like right there, right next to them.
You said extraction is at 9:07 or 9:03?
Well, they may have changed it, but when this report was put out, which was about midday today, okay? So we can't, we got 9:06. Did I say 9:07? It was 9:00. The targeted time to extract the astronauts from the capsule is 9:06 p.m. Ted, I'm sure this is me, but it seems like there's an extra balloon there now. Or
Well, there's 5 now.
I thought there were 4 originally.
Maybe they had another one come up. I don't know. Maybe
A balloon. Those really aren't balloons. They look like balloons.
what are they? Buoys?
Buoys, yeah, but
So they keep it from flipping over.
well, that's the actual. I mean, remember the capsule is inverted, right? They came down backwards. Look at the tip. See, the tip is facing up.
Yeah.
So they're backwards in the capsule. They've been backwards since they started falling toward the Earth.
Okay.
To the extent that Glover had to make piloting decisions, or even checking out whether the computer was correct, he had to do it backwards. You know how hard it is backwards? Remember yesterday when I was trying to cut the back of my I ended up on the wrong side. I'm convinced that I can cut my own hair because my grandfather was a barber.
Yeah.
Although I'm not convinced that I can make a very high quality men's suit because my other grandfather was a custom
This is
tailor.
Mission Control Houston.
Although I do
Once again,
do a
you're
lot of stuff
watching,
on my own
initiation
with
of the
suits.
recovery of the Artemis crew aboard Integrity. All of the Navy divers,
Particularly
and the
when I was
fast boats,
impoverished.
are now
I had to do it
approaching
myself.
the spacecraft
When
after
the
conducting
Biden
a
people
hazard
achieved their
assessment.
objective
The vehicle has
of
been
making
powered
sure I had
down.
zero money
Entry Flight
available to
Director
me.
Rick Henfling now waiting.
I might have had a net worth that was okay,
to be
but I couldn't get
erected along
access
the
to it.
side of the vehicle so that the hatch can be opened and the crew
You know,
members
I find it,
extracted
and we're going to
from
go off on
Integrity,
another point for a moment.
soon to
I
be
find
hoisted,
it a
one by
sign
one
of
into a
how
pair
sick
Navy
our times
helicopters for a short
are,
flight back to the
where
deck of the USS John
the
P.
Democrats and the now group
If you
of
missed it earlier,
Judases
we
in the
talked to
in the
Flight
Republican
Dynamics
Party. I'm
and
talking about
received
Taylor
a more
Green
official touchdown
and
time or splashdown time, as it were.
Candace,
7:07 and 27 seconds
that
p.m. Central
Trump
Time,
Trump
5:07 and 27 seconds
Trump is
p.m.
engaged
Pacific
in war
time.
crimes.
That would equate to a mission
Trump
elapsed time
uses
of
bad
9 days, 1
language.
hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds.
I mean, the president did attribute it in his response to them, which was quite lengthy on truth, the desire for ratings. But of course, ratings means their desire for money, power and glory and fame, and their bitterness at not having gotten what they feel. This is, I mean, 80% of the betrayals in government come when people don't receive the promotion or the office they believe they should receive. The reason that Shakespeare is timeless in his descriptions and analysis of the human condition, and is in his own way as deeply embedded in human psychology as the Greek tragedians. So think, what play of Shakespeare illustrates this? What play of Shakespeare illustrates why Marjorie Taylor Greene is running around like a crazy banshee, now appearing on The View? I think he calls her brown face because she puts on very brown makeup, right? Yeah. So what play? I'm going to go on with a few other things because I like to have you think or look up things. What play of Shakespeare would come closest to this terrible human condition? And by the way, most serious human conditions, you can find a play of Shakespeare addressing it. Just like you can find literature and help and analysis of it in both pre-Socratic and post-Socratic Greek philosophy. Bibi so far is as far as I can tell cooling it. He hasn't hit Hezbollah in a day, but also they haven't hit him. So now I would think he's going along with this because of his respect for the president and because the president really admonished him in about the most benign way, suggesting that the president doesn't agree with it and really thinks that they just need a little time off before they resume their destruction of this regime of terror. I don't think the president is going to be mollified very much by Mark Rutte and the NATO people. Well, I'm listening. Shall we put that on for a minute? The crew is in excellent. He's reported that the crew is in excellent shape, which is excellent news. And they continue to get reports. They continue to get reports.
We have no hazard gases and no hazardous situation with the vehicle. It performed perfectly all the way down from entry interface to its splashdown in the Pacific at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time.
Today, although it seems like
first
well, let's see.
phalanx of recovery personnel now pulling up alongside.
Well, that's a good picture. We didn't have it. Can you have it on the full screen, Ted? That picture? I'm looking at here on the full screen. That's an excellent. Rendition of it. We're about
and other recovery personnel who have trained
20
for several years for
we're
this
about
recovery
20
process.
minutes away from their coming out of there, and we certainly want to see their coming out of there. And then we'll sign off and defer to the great Dr. Maria, who was kind enough to be on our show. Look at that. It's almost as if the capsule's saying hello, right? Look, it's going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. A little more?
A little bit more?
Yeah, come on. Dr. Maria. Oh, well, my goodness, Ted.
I'm working here.
Nah, we got a little, what are you,
41 minutes
I'm
following
working here.
what are you, a
splashdown,
teetotal?
the vehicle has been powered down.
Oh, I like, some of the shots are very good and some aren't. Oh, I think they're probably at the exit door.
Team of recovery personnel has been able to pull alongside.
Does it seem like they have
and
room
the
in
reports
that
continue to come in that the
craft,
four
Ted?
astronauts are in excellent shape.
What do you say? You think they have room in that craft? And I have to say they made a mistake in where they positioned the camera because the exit appears to be on the back side. Remember, the capsule's upside down.
Right.
Now, having gone through space and having been weightless for who knows how long, this probably makes no difference to them.
Yes.
You see, he agreed. He said yes. What do you think the guys on the larger boat? Do you think the smaller boat will take them to the larger boat, and the larger boat will take them to the then even larger boat?
Yeah.
I was surprised they said, Ted, that it would take 2 hours to get them to the intended destination, which is, I guess, much closer to San Diego, although still another boat.
Yeah. Right.
They're all around it, but they still have a bit of time to go. They do have a bit of time to go. I hate to go from the awe-inspiring to the ridiculous, but today was apparently approximately 100 days in office for Mondani, and he really had the audacity to have a celebration of having destroyed New York as much as it's possible to destroy it in 100 days. And his
This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to watch the
he's got them at a
initiation
point
of the
where
recovery of,
they are in
Integrity's
bankruptcy for
astronauts.
sure. And
One by
most
one,
of the
they'll be
things
brought
that he's
out of the
promised,
spacecraft
he's
onto a
taken
large
money
inflatable
and spent
raft.
it, but he hasn't
Just a
accomplished
short
it.
time from now.
So we got to figure out who the
meantime,
hell
we
is
can
it
go back
going
to the
to.
USS
This is
John
going to
P.
be
Murtha,
another
where my
repeat
colleague Megan
of the
Cruz is
Somalians
standing by
in
to provide her situation report.
in
Megan, can you hear
Minneapolis.
us?
The water. Do you think the water looks kind of rough?
Hey, Bob,
It looks
yes, I
to
can
me.
hear you. Thank you. Yeah, we're back here on the bow of the recovery ship where there are still plenty of people peering out into the water. We are not very far from the action everyone is seeing on their screen now. The Orion spacecraft, Integrity, in the ocean, surrounded by a
Ted, can
number of
you
recovery
explain?
boats.
Although this will not affect the audience, it will affect my ability to. Why we're
Ross
looking
has
at?
been
Are we looking
saying,
at two different
in those
shots here, or
recovery
just
boats,
different
NASA
angles
and
of the
Navy
shot?
personnel specifically
I guess it's the same
trained
shot. Yeah,
to
this is just bigger here on the
get
bigger screen.
astronauts out of Orion.
Want me to get bigger? Sorry. This
No,
is-
not necessarily.
Yeah. That's the same thing as that. That might be a bit.
Oh, this is clear. The one in front of me is clear in terms of
In some of the live
resolution.
shots, you can probably see that there are 6 boats out in the water. More than 40 people out in the water right now on those boats.
What would have happened if, without warning, right, there had been a great storm that hit that area? I mean, they of course looked at the 10-day predictions, but at the time they took off, all they had was a 10-day forecast for this area. I assume they had alternative areas should there be a storm that was predictable. Because once they're up, they can't. I mean, if before they're going up, they have
First
reports
order
of a
of
storm,
business
they can cancel the
is
flight
to
and put it
set up
off.
the
But once
front
it's in
porch
flight, they
and a
can't.
stabilization
So I
column.
have to believe
You might also
that they
hear it
have
referred to as a
alternative
stack
landing
collar.
areas.
Basically just to make sure that Orion stays upright, doesn't sway in the water too much, again, to make it easier for recovery forces to get the astronauts out.
You know what's interesting? Not interesting. It's kind of strange. They're not telling us what's happening inside. What are they doing inside? Are they are they packing up to leave their room? You going to leave a tip?
You gotta think like.
Are any of them New Yorkers? Are any of them New
And
Yorkers?
the splashdown of the Pacific
You know the
Ocean
best
just
tippers in the
after
world are New
5
Yorkers.
p.m.
Ask
Pacific
any.
time
Ask
here.
any. Ask
It's a
any
requirement by NASA to
waiter
be
or.
able to get the crew out of Orion.
You know, there was a
within 2 hours
club. I think it
splashdown.
was in Houston, Texas, right? And they
Doing
used
great
to
on
allow
time so
tipping
far. Plenty of time.
until a
No
lot of
rush
New
either.
Yorkers moved in and
I was
started giving
speaking
instead of
to
$2 tip, $100
NASA
tips.
flight surgeon Rick Schuring
And
earlier in this
the
broadcast.
the
and he
the
said to
cheap
me,
non-New
no
Yorkers
rush to
canceled
get the crew
tipping at
out.
the club,
Just want to make sure
and
that
they
they're feeling
built in
good,
a little extra for
and
the personnel
whenever they're ready
because
to
the New
take their
Yorkers
step
were
out of
embarrassing
Orion
them
and onto that
and also
large
costing
raft,
them
the
money
front
by
porch,
giving these very
folks
hardworking
will be ready.
people more money than they felt they deserved. So I am before we get off, because we do want to try to get off around 9:06 so you can go listen to Dr. Maria. Mondani put out a report card on his 100 days, and the Times spun it as best they could for him. This, of course, is probably the worst 100 days in the history of any mayor. I go back, of course, to David Dinkins, because his first 100 days was 100 days after he defeated me. And I was looking for signs then. Although at that point, I pretty much thought I wasn't going to run for mayor again. I was going to run for governor. And he had an unsuccessful first 100 days. He had an unsuccessful mayoralty. But I don't think it was as bad.
Again, plenty of
Well, now
people
I see some
on the boat here,
light emerging.
glued to the side closest to where they can see all this action.
Oh
And
my
again,
goodness, they now have a
just
chute open,
3,000
Ted.
yards separating us. Great views.
You see that?
from the bow here.
They're going to start pulling them out a little early.
You can see now that side hatch is open.
We have to be ready for when they come
Lots of
out.
Navy personnel.
See if
about to get
the
inside
good
there.
doctor wants to help us analyze this. We could use her help with the people coming out as to how they look. Okay, would you do that?
In they go.
In total, just like I asked you to comment on whether you think there should be a heroes parade for them.
The goal is to have a recovery
I would like you to comment on whether
with each astronaut assessing them.
You like it best when I have my whole team with me. I think we're just better. But I rely on them tremendously, whether you see them or not. I wish they would explain more why it's taking time, because I'm sure it's interesting. I'm sure it's not taking time because they're resting and putting makeup on.
Again, that one.
There must be things they have to do. There must be things they have to do inside the capsule, Ted, to effectively
doing a number of things.
secure it.
That stabilization collar onto Orion.
Very soon, somebody's going to come along and take it for analysis. I think they're taking it to the Space Center in Houston.
Will retrieve the parachutes.
Or are they taking it to Cape Kennedy and they're going to Houston? They're going to Houston, the astronaut, for debriefing.
Of the recovery ship here.
The crew is scheduled to fly back to the Johnson Space Center in Houston between 12 and 24 hours after recovery. So they're going somewhere in San Diego first for a complete physical and mental and whatever.
For the Navy and NASA personnel.
Okay, here it is. And their Orion capsule will be trucked across the country to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Maybe we can go visit it.
Flight Director Rick Hensling and the
We're only 3 hours away. Maybe we can find some time. You know, we're going to be traveling quite a bit in the next 2 weeks, but we're not going to be there in the next.
That, of course, allowed the recovery personnel to approach the vehicle and then open the hatch to begin the initial medical assessment of the crew, as you just indicated. Now we're standing by for the erection of that inflatable raft, the front porch, alongside of the vehicle. That will enable the.
So they got a medical assessment by when they open that door. We can inform our loyal observers and listeners. They assess the health of the four.
Of the USS John
P. Bertha. I mean, most they could have done is ask them a question or two and taken a look at them. And I assume what they found were they're in fine health and no injuries. God willing.
To the Earth, the entry into the Earth's atmosphere, and all of the key milestones that followed in this high-speed return to Earth for Integrity, a mission that spanned more than 694,000 miles from the vehicle's launch from the Kennedy Space Center atop the Space Launch System back on April 1st.
So there's a bunch of boats there.
It's confusing as to which ones are going to do the extraction. Well, let me just complete these little items of news so that we can get off. When the 100-day report on Obama on Mondami shows that he basically so far is in a position, having lied to his people. He was supposed to provide universal health care, and he for all two-year-olds. Right now, what he has is health care for only 2,000 kids, which is completely absurd. They had more before Mondani. So far, they've gone from bad, because the health care situation in New York was bad, to catastrophic. His free buses, well, they're just not going to work.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast,
largely because the state has to do it, and they're not going to do it. He has put aside $45 million, but it would be a very, very scaled down, almost pilot program. His rent freeze he can do. That is completely within his jurisdiction to do it. And I suspect that they will vote on it in May. The rent freeze. He doesn't have to go to Albany for that. It's within his power. He doesn't need the city council, which largely has turned on it.
24 hours of a high Earth orbit trajectory.
Overall, the service that did this gives him a failing mark on everything but crime, where they say that at least as far as the percentages are concerned, things have not become catastrophic. Although his programs have proved to be absurd, like his program of getting rid of cops and using these social workers. It went from being a city agency to being a city office. He was supposed to have 10,000 people working for it. He's got more like 200. And his store is, they put up $70 million to find locations, but they haven't found one yet. His Department of Community Service, which is the people he's going to send to deal with domestic violence when a man is beating the living daylights out of his wife, possibly trying to kill her, and has often turned on cops and attempted to kill or maim them. So far, he's done this little program with a $260 million budget, and it has 2 staffers. He did reverse course after 18 people died on getting rid of the homeless encampments. He's now decided he's going to do it, although I haven't seen one done.
Right. And we're supposed to enter in 2 minutes.
So basically, they give him an F on everything but crime, where although the moves are taken promise to really make the city much more dangerous, so far those moves haven't happened. And the police commissioner is holding things together with a simple exception. And I think this happened too late to give him a failing grade. He's canceled public events in New York that would be critical, really, to the economy and raison d'etre for New York, which is tourism. He says New York City is not capable of policing the July 3rd 250 years celebration. So they're going to do it privately. He's canceled many of the FIFA outdoor events that bring the city a great deal of money, because he doesn't have enough police to secure them. And the police commissioner has pointed that out. Now, what she hasn't done, and I'm one who very much believes you have to fall on the sword for what you believe in, but there are other people that take a more practical view of it. She did put out an explanation saying she didn't have enough police to police the 250 years celebration. She also has said privately she doesn't have enough police to police the FIFA events, which were agreed upon, quite some time ago. Isn't the real conclusion that she doesn't have enough police to police New York? New York is not exactly an empty city when there isn't FIFA, or
to set the stage
on various days we can get as many people as FIFA is going to bring in just because they're coming here for Fleet Week, or they just might as well cancel any public event in New York. Like, for example, when I recommended the Heroes Parade, I didn't think until I once again reminded myself they may not be able to do one. They may not be comfortable they can secure it. All because they don't have enough cops. They never did away with the defunding that took place under crooked communist de Blasio.
Okay, so what is this
They took $1 billion out. It's never been returned. And now, in addition to their deliberate defunding, cops are leaving left and right. So they are, well, you could argue how far under. She likes to use 7,000 or 8,000. I would say it's absolutely 10,000 from my peak numbers. And the numbers that I know, because I never just got numbers. I got numbers attached to valuable things they were doing, then use CompStat to evaluate that and figure out, are we going in the right direction, the wrong direction? Do we have the right commanders? Do we have the right police? This lazy bum doesn't do anything like that. All he's really cares about is closing down Rikers Island, where the worst of the worst are now. So his report card was a B- on crime, F- on the economy, F- on budget, and C- on education. Bottom line is, Mondami's ideas have been awful. And although he hasn't made the worst of them, neither has he deviated much from his college frat socialist I would put in pro-Muslim terrorist ideology. A sick New York City judge named Guy Mitchell. Remember Guy Mitchell's name because he will be repeated very often, because he is one of an example of a systemic, corrupt New York City judiciary in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. Judge Guy Mitchell got a chance to sentence New York Police Sergeant Eric Duran. Eric Duran was prosecuted for something he never should have been prosecuted for. In February, he was involved in the arrest of a drug dealer, and the drug dealer had just purchased drugs from an undercover agent. We call this a buy and bust case. I personally probably prosecuted a dozen or more of these, and I supervised the prosecution of probably 1,000 of these over the decades. The police officer or DEA agent goes undercover. The drug dealer does business with him, and then nowadays they record it, and it's a slam dunk conviction because it's right there on the video. So a police officer named Sergeant Eric Dugan made such an arrest, and during the course of the arrest, the defendant pushed him and got on a scooter and ran away. And he was going on the sidewalk at 30 miles an hour, which is very dangerous for a scooter, and could have easily killed somebody. He was also escaping arrest. Sergeant Dupree had in front of him a water cooler, and he threw the water cooler at the criminal, knocked him off the scooter, and tragically, he hit his head and died. Now, wasn't he doing his duty?
Right.
Wasn't he? I mean, unless the police, unless you subscribe to the socialist, communist, Muslim interpretation of American police. Judge Guy Mitchell sentenced him to 3 to 9 years in prison. That's when they let rapists out with no bail. They give them suspended sentences. But just as an example, this sick son of a bitch, Guy Mitchell, 10 years ago, well, this wasn't his case. This is another case. 10 years ago, Officer Peter Liang was found guilty of manslaughter for fatally shooting an unarmed AK girlie in a housing development stairwell. Liang was sentenced to probation and community service. And he shot the guy, unarmed. In this particular case, instead of shooting him, which he could have done, he threw a cooler at him to slow him down. Wow. And he gets 3 to 9 years. Wasn't he doing his job? Mitchell concluded that Duran was threw the cooler in order so that he wouldn't lose an arrest. So what? Isn't that what he's supposed to do? Not lose an arrest? Isn't the guy dangerous? He's a drug dealer. Don't drugs kill young people in New York? You ever hear of fentanyl? Product of the corrupt Democrat system of appointing judges that makes the New York lower courts stink. And no one does anything about it. Not the New York Times, not the New York Bar Association. That for 170 years, with minor exceptions, the Democrats have made the New York court system a mockery. And the judges really should be, when you say you're a New York Supreme Court justice from the four Democratic dictatorships of Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn, it should be assumed that you're crooked because you got your job in a crooked way. The Democratic leader of that county approved you. And I don't know if you yourself did this, but it is not unknown, and it is a practice very often in New York, that you pay off for the job. And if you don't pay off in money, which at one time you did, you pay off by giving them value on the decisions you make. You make it possible for them to fix all political cases. That's a given. And then depending on exactly how ambitious you are and how corrupt, you can enter into deals with the Democratic leader and then all his pals to really come up with tremendous judgments with these ambulance chasing law firms. This kind of crap is what inhabits our state criminal court, our state civil court, and our Supreme Court in Manhattan. When you see an opinion of theirs, take a good look at it. And more than likely, it'll be warped by this initial corruption of becoming a judge. Officer Duran is a 15-year veteran. He has no crimes or I think anything else of an untoward nature on his record. The judge in 2018 gave a gang member only 9 months in prison for purposely beating a homeless man to death. I'm going to read that again. Judge Guy Mitchell, who is a crooked judge of the month candidate this month, and an example of far too many New York City Democrat hack corrupt judges. In 2018, he gave a gang member only 9 months in prison for purposely beating a homeless man to death. reminds me of the judge in a rape case that I once was involved in, who said to the rapist, well, I'm not going to give you a high sentence because it's no reason to ruin two lives. The husband of the woman who was raped was an FBI agent, and he had to be contained because he wanted to rip the judge to shreds. There's no reason for me to ruin two lives because one has been, and we shouldn't have to hurt. It reminds me of Mrs. Newscomb, who loves to go to San Quentin and tell the lifers there that she killed her sister, and always blamed herself for it because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She's only 6 years old. To equate that to what they're there for shows you have a warped pathological sense of right and wrong, and you have some sick pathological attraction to very dangerous criminals. Why would she go there that much? In this case, Sergeant Duran was doing his job, and he's been sentenced to 3 to 9 years in prison for doing his job. He was stopping a drug dealer who had just made an undercover purchase from running away, escaping justice, and also driving a scooter in such a way that if a child got in the way of him, he could have killed him. And he could have taken a gun and just shot him. But instead, he took a water cooler, probably thinking that was the less egregious of the things that could be done. And for that, he's going to spend a good deal of his young life in prison. And he is going to discourage police officers. And the reason why New York has to cancel the 250th celebration, it has to cancel much of their FIFA celebrations. Who knows what else it's going to have to cancel, which is a dramatic illustration that the police commissioner has way too few cops to police New York generally safely, because New York is dealing with big crowds every day without any kind of deliberate event. And the people in charge of it don't have the guts to argue that we need more. The police commissioner, who I have very mixed feelings about, I think it's great that she's there because she is a source of reason and common sense, and she has done a good job. And some of that has carried over into the Mondani years that he hasn't interfered with yet. I suspect they're going to be destroyed. One of the good things was his whole idea of sending social workers out kind of petered out or blew up right at the beginning, so it's not happening. But I of course, everybody has their own views here, and this is not necessarily a criticism of her, just a question. If she has to recommend canceling because too many people are coming into New York, doesn't it say that her city is too dangerous day to day to day, and that she's got to make a much bigger deal out of the fact that she claims she's down 6,000 officers? I will tell her, as a much bigger expert on crime and law enforcement than she can ever hope to be, that she's closer to about 8,000 or 9,000. And by next year at this time, with all of the things they're doing, and she is not this is not a Bernie Kerik or a Bill Bratton or a Howard Saver. This isn't a person with massive law enforcement experience. With all that having been said, she's done a good job. But now she's working for a traitor, a communist, a Muslim sympathizer, a Muslim killer sympathizer. So this sick judge is going to put the police officer in jail unless it gets appealed. He's 38 years old. He's the dad of 3. He served for 11 years. The judge agreed that Duran was remorseful, but still gave a 3 to 9 year sentence as a deterrent to other police officers So now police officers, if somebody is fleeing, should say, oh, well, you can go away. Judge Mitchell thinks it's better if you run away. And then we're going to hope to find you in a city of 8.5 million with so many fugitives that they could fill up, several stadiums. Goodbye, Judge Mitchell.
I'm out of there.
So let's the rest. Dr. Maria has gone off and left us.
We gotta get to her show.
Now it's time to go to Dr. Maria's show. She could tell us what's on it, but it is good. I heard some of it. You heard some of it, right? So let's wrap up with where are we? And once again, God bless our brave astronauts. Where are they right now? It looks like they haven't quite come out yet, but they're going in. I just see one of the looks like a soldier or a sailor walking in, who just went into the cabin, the backwoods cabin. Yep. But since there's not a raft or a boat right up next to it, I seriously doubt that anybody is coming out, which means they are now about 10 minutes delayed coming out, which is okay. That's all right. So I urge you to go over to Dr. Maria. This is all going to go fine. So you can make a choice now. Here's a practical suggestion. Go over to Dr. Maria, listen to her. If you don't want to do that, watch this and then get Dr. Maria as a podcast, as more than 50% of the people who watch our show do. Most of you watch it. We're going to a weekend, right? Most of you will watch it. Twice as many of you will watch it over this weekend than are watching it right now. Because it is a combination of live and podcast. And that's true of Dr. Maria too. So, but if you want to go over now, take a peek at it. And this way you can remind yourself over the weekend to go back to it if you want to watch the rest of this. Because I'm going to do both. I'm going to have her on and I'm going to watch this.
Right.
In fact,
Put her on there.
watch.
Put her on. We'll sign off.
We'll sign off as soon as I get her on.
Okay.
And remember, it's the weekend coming up. Pray for, come on, help me, Ted. Pray for, oh, there she is right here. See? Would you like to see it? Oh, it went off. Stop this. Mike, I got you back. Here it is. Oh, she's got on, I can see it. She's got on a very big miscarriage of justice in Houston, Texas. This was terrible. I was going to cover this also, but far better for her to cover. She does it better. So keep following them. There's probably going to be some really terrific, imagine the press conference will be tomorrow by the time they get back and everything else. It would be really interesting to see how they describe this. Anything happens, Ted and I will find a way to be back with you, right, Ted? We're going to keep very posted because I keep thinking something's going to happen over in the Middle East. And pray for the people of Israel. Pray for the people of Ukraine. Pray for the people of Iran. Pray for our wonderful astronauts that everything else goes safely. And that they get the proper glory they deserve for this, not just for them, because it'll encourage a lot of young people to go in this direction. A parade like that had brought a lot of people into science when we did them. They had definite good results. And it starts to get our American kids to start looking at something other than the scummy singers and, the little creeps that they love to be singers, but they also take drugs, and so many of them are such a bad example. These are good examples. See you on Monday. God bless America. U.S. Army Major Scott. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve